victory for Lucas Flusha. Magnificent race. That was easily the best X30 mini race we've had of the weekend, and there's another one of those to come. So now we move into the X30 Super Shifter pre-final. And obviously it's been all about one man pretty much for the majority of the weekend, who has been very successful from the word go, and that is Kevin Ludi of Switzerland, who has been the number one for most of the weekend, not quite all of it. In the practice sessions on Friday, it was all about Casper Corjus. Then come qualifying, he lost his pace. Carlos Leon was the original pole position sitter going into yesterday. But then off the start, the electric bolt of lightning that is Kevin Ludi in the 611 was able to charge his way forward and take 2 out of the 3 victories yesterday. The only man to beat him was Philip Siva in the third and final heat. But Ludi coming second puts him in first position with 2 wins and a second place. On the front row alongside him is going to be Nico Rohrwasser, who came back from a disappointing qualifying session where his best 2 times were initially disallowed, dropped him to 8th position on the grid. But on every single occasion, Rohrwasser was able to fight his way back and get himself back into the top 3 most of the time, and to the top 4 on one occasion. And that puts him second on the grid alongside Kevin Ludi. Philip Siva, Heat 3 winner yesterday, lines up on the second row of the grid alongside the very impressive Estonian Stentorian Peremargi, who has been incredibly great off the starts. He too found himself on the 4th row of the grid after an unsuccessful qualifying session, but what he has been able to do since then has been absolutely immense, and that is why he finds himself on the second row of the grid on the outside in P4, several times a podium finisher yesterday. Now I'm just trying to make out who it is that went off on the slowing down lap in the X30 Minis. I think that is the 917. So I think that is Ivan Dominguez. I'm not sure if that's right or not, because that doesn't look like Ivan Dominguez's kart. It might be the 907. It might be Sondra Norheim who went off there. It doesn't make a blind bit of difference in terms of the result, because of course it happened after the finish line. It's just very interesting that the race is finished and somebody has gone off on the way back to the pits, and it was quite an interesting off. It was almost as if the race was still going, that he went off there on the exit of turn 5. Anyway, talking about the remainder of the grid for the X30 Super Shifters, which will be getting underway in about 3.5 minutes time. Carlos Leon, the original pole position sitter for the X30 Super Shifters, will start on the inside line of the 3rd row, 5th position on the grid, alongside the Japanese racer Michel Biffiger, who of course is based in Switzerland. And then it is Antti Ramo, who will line up alongside Casper Corjus, the 2 Estonians. Casper Corjus has had an absolute nightmare of a weekend, all in all. It's really not gone his way at all, the Estonian. It started perfectly because he was fastest in the practice sessions in both of the early sessions on Friday, and we thought he was going to be the man with the ultimate pace all weekend. But then they went into qualifying, and Casper Corjus just seemed to have all sorts of mechanical maladies, 2 retirements, and a 5th place finish. Not quite what he wanted from yesterday. However, he is still doing the best he possibly can, and he is keeping his head held high. He starts from the 4th row of the grid, hoping for a much better 2 races here in the final day of action. And then it is the Portuguese driver, João Dias, in the Birolart kart that finds himself on the 5th row of the starting grid in P9. Now, you're thinking, if you've watched this or you're tuning in for the first time, and thinking, 9 karts, that's not going to be a great race, is it? Well, you're wrong. You're absolutely and deadly wrong. This is the X30 Super Shifters. The gearbox karts are the fastest machines here, and the drivers are so closely matched that it is very intense. We've seen 3 races over the course of Saturday, and despite the low numbers, it has been absolutely amazing to behold. Kevin Ludi has not always had it his own way. The 3rd heat yesterday in particular was very close run. Stentorian Peremargi has had some brilliant battles with the likes of Nico Rohrwasser and Philip Siva. Carlos Leon has got his shoulders and elbows in there whenever he's got an opportunity to. So we are expecting to see a very close and intense battle despite the low numbers. But not bad considering this is only the 2nd running of the IAME Winter Cup. We debuted it last year, 12 months ago. We only had 57 drivers in the whole paddock last year. This year we have 150 or so. So not bad going. And very much an amazing increase on last year. I make that about 200% more drivers that we had last year. And hopefully that kind of rise can continue into next year's IAME Winter Cup as well. It's only the second running of the event here at the Cartodromo Lucas Guerrero, just outside Chiva in Valencia. And I have a feeling that we may get 250 drivers entering in next year's category. You can still get your entries in for the European Series, of course. 4 weekends across France, Belgium, Germany and Italy. On the final weekend in March at Salbris in France, just south of Orléans, at Marienborg in Belgium on the 24th to 27th of May, at Wackersdorf on the second weekend in July, the 5th to the 8th, not far from Nuremberg, and then at Siete Larghe, the circuit at Castelletto in Italy on the second weekend in August to round out the 4 rounds of the championship. And an absolutely fantastic. And just giving a thumbs up to Alejandro Melendez, who did an absolutely cracking job in that race. Second position, and very well done to him. Best we've seen from him all weekend. But he's always got a bit of a wave and a smile for me. So I have to give him a wave. So we get ourselves ready for the X30 Super Shifters, who will be leaving the pits imminently with Kevin Ludi on the front row of the grid from Nico Robassa. The battle continues in the X30 Super Shifters. It's fast, it's electric, and it's incredibly intense. Ludi and Robassa, Siva and Piramagi, Leon and Bifiga, Ramo and Corjus and Diaz. There's only 9, but this is one of the most intense battles you're going to see of the weekend. Anybody who knows anything about senior karting, and in particular gearbox karting, knows that this is the pinnacle of kart racing. And this is an absolutely incredible discipline. I've spoken to many kart racers who said you are not really a proper karter until you have tested or at least driven and then potentially raced a gearbox kart. I speak to so many gearbox racers over the course of Europe, and they all say it's the most incredible discipline of motorsport, never mind karting, you will ever take it up. Many people have tested superkarts and gearbox karts over the years, namely the likes of World Touring Car Champion Rob Huff, David Coulthard from Formula One fame, Michael Schumacher, the greatest Formula One driver of them all, and the greatest king of MotoGP, Valentino Rossi, had a go in a gearbox kart at Laguna Seca a few years ago. They all said pretty much the same thing. You guys are lunatics. And you know what kind of a racer you are when Valentino Rossi calls you a lunatic, because he is one of the maddest people in motorsport. However, it is proof of just how tough you have to be as a racing driver to get good at this particular sport. It may not be the most lucrative, it may not be the most money-making sport, but in terms of experience, they tell me this is like Formula One without the budget. It is an absolutely incredible discipline of karting. So physical, so fast, and incredibly difficult to concentrate on. Because think of all the intensity and the speed you have with normal karts. Then add to the fact that these karts are A, faster, and B, you have to change gears to drive them, and that adds a whole new level of spectacular. And, of course, in the X30 Super Shifters, it is the only class here this weekend that does not have a rolling start. It has a standing start, which is why we've got lots of spectators making their way onto the top of the cafeteria and onto the pit wall, because they want to see the spectacle of a lightning fast start on the starting grid here at the Cartodromo Lucas Guerrero. Rudy and Robassa will start from the front of the grid. And this is going to be an interesting one. It's a fast start. They don't stay on the grid very long because they have to keep their engine revs pretty high. You hold them on the grid too long and they will burn out the motor. But here we go. They're all getting into position. All 9 of them are ready to go. And wait for it. This is going to be one of the fastest catapults you're ever going to see. Ready. The X30 Super Shifter pre-final is almost underway. Ready. Avante! And what a start from Siva! Siva launches forward and beats both Ludi and Robassa to the front of the field. And so Philip Siva launches away from the second row. Boom, he's into the lead. So now Robassa through in a second position. Ludi gets a terrible start by his rankings, actually. Oh, and Antti Ramo very nearly collects Casper Corjus, goes around the outside of him into turn 3. But it's a great battle as Stendorian Pinamagi is getting a little bit of a nudge and a little bit of an aggro from Kevin Ludi, who's trying to go round the outside out of 8 into 9. And Kevin Ludi is stuck there in P3. Stendorian Pinamagi is causing a little bit of a roadblock at the moment. Now, where is Carlos Leon? He finds himself now down behind Casper Corjus. who's had a pretty good start, actually. Corjus finds himself in 7th place behind Antti Ramo. Carlos Leon has dropped down to 8th place now. And down in 9th is Joao Diaz, although they have seemed to find some horsepower out of that kart overnight. And Joao Diaz is definitely going faster today than he was yesterday. He had all sorts of mechanical difficulties yesterday. Ludi's getting all over the shop as he comes out of the final chicane. Stendoni and Pitanagi's trying to get alongside him. The Estonian's going to get through into 3rd, and that's going to open the door for Michel Bifiga. Bifiga's through into 4th position. So out in front, it's Philip Seaver. 2nd is Rohrwasser. Then it's Pitanaги. 4th place is Bifiga. 5th is Ludi. 6th is Ramos. 7th is Corjus. 8th is Leon. And 9th place is Joao Diaz. What a battle. I told you it was intense in the X30 Super Shifters. You don't need many to make a great race. You just need great machines and great athletes. Down the short stretch to turn 10. The battle is already getting intense between Seaver and Rohrwasser. Seaver is a race winner this weekend. Rohrwasser has yet to do it. Up the inside goes Kevin Ludi, I believe that is, to make the move on Michel Bifiga to get back into 4th place. In front of him, though, the Estonian Stendorian Pitanagi has been very strong off the start. Down to the S's. Right, left, right, and Philip Seaver's doing well here in front of Rohrwasser. Stendorian Pitanagi trying to get away in 3rd position. 4th place is Ludi, then it's Bifiga. Ramo, Kasper Corjus is battling away with Carlos Leon. Carlos Leon's gone through in a 7th place. Corjus is down to 8th now. And bringing up the rear still, Joao Diaz, but he has got more pace and speed than yesterday. 13 laps this pre-final. But out in front, it is your man who has done a great job in the 3rd heat and here in the pre-final. Philip Seaver has really clicked with it in the last 12 hours or so. Has done an absolutely amazing job. So Philip Seaver out in front. Rohrwasser right behind him. These guys know each other of old. As up the inside, Carlos Leon trying to defend from Kasper Corjus. He's going to try and get through. And there goes Corjus up the inside. Meanwhile, Bifiga is going to lose out to Antti Ramo round the outside. Antti Ramo has got through down the back straight. As they head to the final chicane, the leaders, it's still Seaver and Rohrwasser. Stendorian Pitanagi is 3rd. Ludi is 4th. Then in 5th position, that is Antti Ramo trying to close up. Bifiga is 6th. 7th is Corjus. 8th is Carlos Leon once again. At 9th position, Joao Diaz, the Portuguese star, still circulating around, much faster than he was yesterday. So the battle's still intense and still going strong up to the far side. And this battle's still raging very, very strong indeed between these two. Out in front, you still have the amazing battle between Rohrwasser trying to get one over on Philip Seaver. 3rd place, Stendorian Pitanagi of Estonia. 4th position, Kevin Ludi, the man who was almost dominant yesterday. He's battling away further back, though. Kasper Corjus makes the move on Michel Bifiga, and that gives Carlos Leon a chance to close up. And T. Corjus, then it's Michel Bifiga and Carlos Leon. Right. Still, the battle rages. Rohrwasser looks to be just biding his time behind Philip Seaver, making Seaver do all the hard work. He'll make him lead for 11 laps of the race if he can. On the penultimate lap, no doubt. That's always when you want to make the bid for the lead. No, he's going for it now. Dives at the end, overshoots. And that's going to give Seaver plenty of clearing space. In front of the man in 2nd place now through the S's. A big mistake for Rohrwasser into the chicane. That's going to drop him into the clutches. Stendorian Pitanagi if he's not careful. Carlos Leon, meanwhile, is trying to get one over on Michel Bifiga. Up the inside. Whoa, that was late from Carlos Leon. Michel Bifiga holding him off. Just watching a little bit further back behind the leaders. Carlos Leon is still desperate to get past Michel Bifiga. Now, Rohrwasser trying to close up on Seaver. And Pitanagi and Ludi are now working together to close up on them. And Kasper Corjus is trying to get on the inside of Antti Ramo. He's leaving that one late. He's never going to make that one stick. Not in a month of Sundays. Philip Seaver out in front, looking good to get on pole position for the final. Rohrwasser is 2nd, 3rd and 4th, Pitanagi and Ludi. Ramo and Corjus making an all-Estonian battle for 5th position, while Michel Bifiga is still having difficulties with Carlos Leon in 7th and 8th place, those two. Joao Diaz still circulating around in the Birrelat, but the pace isn't quite there to run with the leaders yet. He'll get there in time. Siva, Rohrwasser, Pirimagi and Ludi, Ramo and Corjus, Bifiga and Leon. Great battles all the way through this field. It's not a big field, but it is a big fight. Siva has got Rohrwasser breathing him in once again. Rohrwasser getting close. And still, Kevin Ludi is intensely, doggedly trying to find a way past Stentori and Pirimagi. Get your foot down, man. Get on with it. Absolutely amazing battling as they work their way through the circuit. On the far side, Philip Siva trying to make his move there as he goes into the S's once more. Off the turn. Great moves from Philip Siva as he continues to lead in front of Rohrwasser. Now we've got a little bit of an intense fight as Stentori and Pirimagi has been caught again by Kevin Ludi. Ludi is right there on the back. Can he make the move on the far side? He's going to try and get closer into turn 3. Just doesn't quite have the gap. But this is going to be an interesting one. Once more, we have Philip Siva in front of the man in 2nd place, Nico Rohrwasser. Stentori and Pirimagi's got Ludi all over the place. It is 2x2 hurrah in this race all the way through. 1st and 2nd, Siva and Rohrwasser. 3rd and 4th, it is Pirimagi and Ludi. 5th and 6th, it's Ramo and Corjus. 7th and 8th, it is Bifiga and Leon. Now, is there going to be a shuffle for positions? We will find out. Joao Diaz is still there in P9, but Rohrwasser has reeled in Philip Siva. It's taken him a while, but on lap 8 of 13, at the end of this one, there will be 5 to go. He's got a great chance to get back on terms with him. Oh, and that's a move. Kevin Ludi tries to go for Pirimagi. Doesn't work, and it's held them both up. So that's compromised them both. Trying to go for the move on the inside. Rohrwasser tries to make the move on Philip Siva. It's not going to happen on this occasion. So once again, it is all going to be about this battle. Can he make the switchback? Rohrwasser trying to get underneath. It's going to be a tough battle, whatever happens at the front of this race. Oh, Siva makes a mistake there into 9. Oh dear, it's going to be a tough one. On to the short stretch towards turn 10. And here we go, Rohrwasser's going to try again. This time he's going to get the door slam firmly shut. He's going to drift slightly wide. Siva's going to try and get him on the undercut. Rohrwasser keeps that door firmly shut. The Swiss is through. Rohrwasser takes the lead. Great move into 10 there from Nico Rohrwasser, and he heads the race for the first time this weekend. So Nico Rohrwasser is looking good now to take his first win of the weekend. 2 wins for Ludi and 1 for Siva, but Rohrwasser is now in front. Amazing battle, this one. And Rohrwasser, having made the lunge into turn 10 a few laps ago and overshooting, has decided, no, that's not how to do it. I do know how to, though. I'm going to come back and make it happen. And Ludi, a very late lunge on the inside of Pirimagi, but he needs to do it quickly because Corjus and Ramo have been working together to close them up. And now it's a 4-way scrap for 3rd position. So, can Kevin Ludi get underneath Stentori and Pirimagi and make that move stick? 5th position, 6th position are now right with them now. Antti Ramo and Kasper Corjus. In fact, Rohrwasser, in the lead of the race, has actually started to get away from Philip Siva. He doesn't quite have the pace to run with him. Kevin Ludi is really struggling in this one. He can't even get close enough to Stentori and Pirimagi, let alone the 2 men in front of him. 2 wins and a 2nd thus far, but Ludi is looking set not to finish in the top 3 of the pre-final. Well, it just shows you how competitive it is here. But out in front, it is Nico Rohrwasser. Siva in 2nd. Look at the squabble for 3rd position between the 4 of them. And that's going to be running wide for Stentori and Pirimagi. Ludi has had enough. He makes his way through. Antti Ramo gets through as well. And that drops Pirimagi down to 5th position. Kevin Ludi makes the break and into 3rd position with 3 laps to go. So, Kevin Ludi getting impatient. Makes the move on Stentori and Pirimagi. Antti Ramo has enough space to get through as well. So now Kevin Ludi is back in the 3rd position. He's back in the top 3, and that is actually quite crucial because that puts him on the inside line if he stays there for the final later on. But Nico Rohrwasser is out in front, looking very good indeed. Philip Siva in 2nd place. Kevin Ludi in 3rd position in front of Antti Ramo, Stentori and Pirimagi, and Kasper Corjus. 2 to go as they come across the line this time. Rohrwasser's doing great. Rohrwasser has stretched out the advantage over Philip Siva and is set to become the 3rd different winner this weekend. 2 wins for Ludi and 1 for Siva in the 3rd heat. But Rohrwasser is looking like the man who's going to get it done. Out in front, through 6, through 7. The double left apex now. Look at the gap Rohrwasser is pulling out on Philipp Siever. He's just leaving him standing as they go through down the short stretch. This is the Rohrwasser we wanted to see today. He's had support watching in from the Telemundi Media live stream over the course of the last 2 days. Now he is absolutely in command of this one. He's pulled out the gap to about 1.5 seconds or so, which is the same gap that Philipp Siever has on Kevin Luddy, by the way. He comes through the chicane and will begin the final lap. Nico Rohrwasser is in command with 1 lap to go. Second place for your man in there, Philipp Siever of Switzerland. And his teammate, Kevin Luddy, is in 3rd position. That's going to be an interesting final with the deck shuffled once again. But Stendorian Pirimagi down in 5th position will be interesting going into the final. He's trying to hang on in front of Kasper Korjus. Antti Ramo, meanwhile, though, has rolled his sleeves right up. He's going straight for Kevin Luddy. He wants to get into the top 3. What if he can make it? That would be really a royal upset. So Antti Ramo getting close to Kevin Luddy. Rohrwasser's on his own. Siever's on his own. But Kevin Luddy is not safe in 3rd yet. Antti Ramo is close. If he makes one mistake now before the line, it's Antti Ramo's to claim. But down the back straight, through the double right flick and into the final chicane. Right, left, right for Nico Rohrwasser. Out of the final turn, and Rohrwasser is victorious. What a victory. 2nd place for Siever and 3rd for Kevin Luddy in front of Antti Ramo. Stendorian Pirimagi and Kasper Korjus with Michel Biviga in 7th position. We seem to have lost Carlos Leon, unfortunately. I think he had a mechanical difficulty that put him out of the race. And João Dias, the Portuguese driver in the Birilat chassis, will continue home to bring it into 8th position. So that will put Carlos Leon on the inside line, but down in 9th position, unfortunately, for the final. But how about that? When the favourite was Kevin Luddy going into it, looking likely the only man who could really challenge him was going to be Philipp Siever, he reckoned without Nico Rohrwasser. Rohrwasser is the winner of a magnificent pre-final, and he will get the ultimate pole position for the final now in front of Philipp Siever, Kevin Luddy, Antti Ramo of Estonia, his 2 countrymen, Stendorian Pirimagi and Kasper Korjus, Michel Biviga, João Dias, and sadly out of the race, Carlos Leon, the local favourite. So now we move